You rise before the dawn will break. Heart so full, it could never fade.
Hello, welcome. It's time for Take Heart Time Out with Rayna. I'm so glad that you've joined me here today, and I'm looking forward to being able to share with you. I want to just tell you a little bit. I am Rayna Neisis, a caregiver coach, an author, and a speaker, as well as a positive approach to care trainer. And I am blessed to be a part of this community, and I'm excited to be able to take this little time out with you today. So let's just take a few moments and do our box prayer. If you haven't joined us before, a box prayer is where we're going to inhale for 4 counts, hold it for 4 counts, exhale for 4 counts, and then hold it for 4 counts. Are you ready? Join me in this. I'm going to count. So I can't join you, but I hope that you'll take this few moments to we're going to do 3 box breaths. Are we ready? Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. One more. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. All right. I hope that will bring our cortisol levels down and give us a few moments here to just kind of focus and enjoy some encouragement and maybe some thoughts that we haven't had before. So again, welcome. I'm glad that you're here. All right. So today is National Repeat Day. Isn't that hilarious? It's a day when people are encouraged to repeat things for the fun of it. But for you as a caregiver, that might not be a holiday. That might just be built into your regular schedule, really. Everything that you have to do oftentimes is on repeat, right? So emotionally, as a caregiver, that might not feel quite so fun. It might actually feel a little bit discouraging and frustrating, having to possibly repeat things that you say or repeat tasks that you don't really enjoy. Kind of monotonous and draining, and even, like I said, discouraging. So let's think a little bit about that. If you folded the same laundry today, if you've answered the same question over again, or if you've even repeated the same medication routine, you're not alone. In fact, everyone in this community has been where you are. And so I just want to say, let's make fun. Let's have a good day thinking about repeat day. You know, repetition can be a little heavy. Like I said, having people needing you to do the same thing over and over again can often make you feel invisible, really, because the things just get done and people don't notice that you are doing them. Repeating care routines without thanks can feel thankless, right? Repeating grief over and over as decline slowly happens, it can be really exhausting. Repetition in caregiving can be one of the most hidden burdens that we carry. Have you ever thought about it? How many things you repeat and how frustrating that can become. Let's make a shift here. Repetition isn't always a burden. Sometimes it's a rhythm. And rhythms can bring peace. Rhythms are patterns that give structure and predictability to life. Unlike routines, which can be rigid and have really tight timelines, rhythms allow for graceful repetition. They're not about doing things perfectly at the same time every day, but about flowing in a way that sustain you and the person that you're caring for. So our brains actually really like repetition, or really more, our souls like rhythm, right? Rhythm gives us predictability, and it can really reduce stress. When we know what to expect, we feel safer. We are more in control, and we especially can be true for when we're living with someone that is living with dementia or brain change. Those rhythms can be really comforting to them. Rhythms can create rest, just like God created day and night, work and Sabbath. We thrive when rhythms are times for us to have exertion and then restoration. Rhythms anchor our identity. Morning coffee, devotions, singing favorite hymns. These repeated moments can actually remind us of who we are and what we value. God designed us for rhythm. Think about it. We have the tide that he created. We have our heartbeat, which is in rhythm each and every day. We have the rising sun and the setting sun. They might happen at different times, but they happen every day. And that creation, it speaks beautifully of what God thinks of rhythm. He created it all and he called it good. So thinking of rhythm in the middle of caregiving chaos, it can really establish those simple rhythms can bring calm. And not only for the person that you're caring for, but for your own soul. There's practical rhythms that we can try. We can start our day with the same repetitive anchor. Prayer can be a great thing, listening to praise songs, even just enjoying that warm cup of coffee or tea. That rhythm can start our day in a certain way that just gets us off into a pattern of feeling comfort and safety. Using rhythm to communicate care, a bedtime blessing, or a good night song, or even a shared meal that can communicate to others. That consistency, again, can bring them security and peace. Creating visual cues or checklists. I cared for both of my parents who had Alzheimer's disease, and my dad especially was in the home caring for him, and we had checklists everywhere. And my goal, as I really thought about it, was for all of us as caregivers to follow those same rhythms so that my dad was not dependent on who was there with him, but rather we were creating the same rhythm he created for himself. And so knowing that Sally was doing the same thing in the same order I was doing, and creating that rhythm was a really important part of caring for him. So using checklists or consistent processes in what we do can create that rhythm that again can bring comfort and provide provide peace. In fact, it can help us to reduce that fatigue when we have decisions to make, when we're constantly thinking, oh, what do I need to do next? What do I need to do next? If we have those consistent rhythms and checklists, can really help us to reduce that fatigue as well. And at the end of the day, rhythm might be reading or journaling or taking some deep breaths or thanking God, using gratitude to think about our day and to thank him for the things that have happened. Rhythms are not about controlling every part of your day. They are about supporting your heart as you live in your day and those routines, those repetitions that need to happen. Now, with the value of rhythm in mind, let's take one step deeper. What if repetition, those tasks that we have to perform again and again, aren't just about being helpful or even being necessary, but rather about being holy? What if repetition isn't just about something to endure, but it's something sacred? How could we do that? We could think about, excuse me, how repetitions is throughout what we do, but also about how it is throughout what God does. In fact, we think of the repetition of seasons. Not all times are the same. Not all repetitions have the same time frame, right? A season is a time frame that's longer than a day, but there's repetition to it. There's consistency there. In fact, we're farmers. I live on a farm in Kansas, and we are coming up on harvest. And harvest is a time that comes every year that we plant our seeds, right? And it's something that it's a cycle that we can see that God created. I'm always amazed. I was not always a farm girl. I grew up in the city, and I really hadn't thought, honestly, a whole lot about it when I would drive by fields near where I lived. But once I became a farm wife and it became part of life, it was interesting to me to think about the fact that the seed is planted and it has to die in order for the plant to grow. The plant grows and it goes through its full life cycle. It dies again before it can be harvested and used. In fact, when you look at the beautiful waves of grain that our national anthem talks about, that field of golden wheat is dead. When it's growing right now, well, it's kind of transitioning from green to brown. It's dying. And it has to die in order for it to be able to be harvested and for us to use it. The same thing is true when we think of the corn plant. We often think of cornfields being beautiful, lush green fields, and they are until it's time to harvest. That plant dies, which allows us to then get in and get that ear of corn. So thinking about how those cycles, God created the earth full of repetitions, full of things that need to happen in order for us to be able to have the life that we need to have. So in fact, we can look at Galatians 6:9. It says, let us not become weary in doing good, but for at the proper time, we will reap a harvest if we do not give up. The acts of love that we're doing are sowing seeds quietly in a field, and God sees each and every one. In fact, that faithfulness, it isn't loud, but it's steady, and He sees it, and He's blessed by it. And so are those that you're caring for. So as we think about that repetition and how we can embrace repetition, embrace the repetition of caregiving, I want us to think about naming it as good. Whatever it is, folding the laundry, making the meal, sorting the meds, giving the meds, name it good. This is love. This is service. This is obedience. Anchor your day in one meaningful moment, whatever that is for you. Prayer, music, fresh air, a deep breath. Anchor your day in that one meaningful moment. Add something beautiful to the ordinary. Lighting a candle, setting music on and for dinner or even lunch. Having scripture near you and being able to be reminded of God's faithfulness. Make that ordinary even more special. And last but not least, ask for help. Repetition without rest, it leads to resentment. So you need to make sure to think about that and be able to find how you can have the help that you need to be able to get refreshed and not just continue to push on through. So repeat day, it's meant to be fun. And I hope that there's some new things that I've helped you think about in the repetition of caregiving and helping you to develop it into rhythm so that it's not a have to, but it's a blessing and refreshing to your soul. So in the caregiving world, repetition, it isn't always easy, and caregiving isn't either. Still, there is beauty to be found. And more importantly, God can be found in it. So I hope you have a wonderful day. I see I have some people here with me today. I'm so glad you're able to join me live. Be sure to mark your calendars and hop on with us. If you have questions or would like to chat, I'll take a minute here to check our chat and see if there was anybody that had, hi, Michelle, good to see you this morning. Any ideas on repetition or how rhythm has helped you as a caregiver? I'm sure that wasn't a thought that you thought about before you came today, but I didn't even know there was a National Repeat Day. So it's kind of fun to think about all the things that we have to do in that caregiving and how we can turn it into just those moments of blessing, which is really the key to all of it, right? I think realizing that when we don't have the rest from our repetitions builds the resentment, lots of R's in there, but we want to avoid that last one, right? So ask for help and find the rest that we need. All right. Thank you so much for joining me. And I hope that you enjoy National Repeat Day. Bye-bye.
In their struggles, you stand tall. Through the chaos, answer the call. A lifeline walking in the dark, leaving behind a selfless mark.